How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Data here, and welcome back to the Vancouver Canucks franchise mode here on NHL 24. Episode number 10, double digits, we made it. Headed into the second half of year number 3, the 2025-2026 regular season. In the last one, we have had a lot of Thatcher Demko-centric discussions. He was on trial, the jury's still out, deliberations are being had, but in the meanwhile, we as a team sit fourth in the Pacific Division. It's very tight here in the Pacific. Through 41 games at the halfway point, we are 23-16-2, on pace to go 46-32-4. We'll see how that goes. We currently sit 11th in the NHL with the best power play in the league, and our penalty kill is closer to the top than the bottom. That could see some improvement as well, down at 83%. With our team scoring, we're seeing Quinn Hughes, our captain, lead the way right now, on pace for a career high 106 points, 6 goals and 47 assists, 53 points at the halfway point from him. Elias Pettersson's at 47, Kuzmenko's at 46, JT Miller at 40. So we have 4 point per game plus players, our first line and our first D pairing star in Quinn Hughes. After that, we still see some great totals from Filip Hronek on pace for over 70 points, Brock Besser on pace for over 40 goals, Sam Reinhart on pace for 70 points. So lots of good things to be seen, yet our defense is still struggling. As we scroll down the point scorers here, we see the plus minuses aren't too horrible. Our worst is Carson Soucy, who is a -6 through 30 games played. Yet, when we look at our goaltending, we see that Thatcher Demko has a 15-12-2 record with 1 shutout, but an .892 save percentage and 3.54 goals against average. Now, Thatcher Demko, the last 2 years, has been incredible in the regular season. Vezina candidate, Vezina top 5, absolutely. But the last 2 postseasons have been abysmal. Through his last 2 years, he's had 7 appearances, going 1-5-1 with a sub 900 save percentage and around 4 goals against average. So that last postseason especially may have really played with his, with his psychology here. Because, okay, 15 wins is all right, but again, sub 900 save percentage at over 3.5 goals against on average. Thatcher Demko needs to see some sort of improvement. Meanwhile, Casey DeSmith, the hero of the last 2 postseasons, as he's had incredible numbers, like looking at 940 save percentage and something like 2.25 goals against average over the last 18 appearances. When we look at that, and then this regular season, he's taken over the crease a little bit. He's played the last 10 games as well. 8-5-0 is his record. His numbers aren't otherworldly, especially considering he's a 34-year-old who's in the last years of his career, but his numbers are better than those of Thatcher Demko, despite, of course, being a smaller sample size. So our biggest question headed into the second half is, in the short term, can we trust Thatcher Demko to get us to where we need to be in the regular season? But long term, can he be our starter? He's on the final year of his contract, paying him $5 million. If he were to extend for 1 year, he would do so for about 5.1, I believe. So it wouldn't be horrible to keep him for another year in terms of the contract situation. But are we just sick of Thatcher Demko? Are we just done with him? There are a few options on the trade blocks. There are a few directions we could go in. So that's where we turn to the assistant general managers who left some of their thoughts in the last episode. Pretty much every comment was centered on Thatcher Demko, as although we've seen some difficulty with the middle 6 wingers and the third pair D, pretty much the main issue with this team is between the pipes and, namely Thatcher Demko. So I did go ahead and make a couple changes. I healthy scratched Jet Wu. We're going to put Carson Soucy back into the lineup. We may end up trading Carson Soucy. We've been considering that. He's on a cheap AAV next year, so that's not out of the question, but he's played 30 out of 41 games. Let's play him a little bit more to kind of see what he would do with Braden McNabb. He's been out for the last 10 or 11 games with Jet Wu coming in. Let's give him a chance to get back into the lineup and see what happens. Forwards, I won't be touching anything just yet. And for goaltending, you'll see me sharing my thoughts after we go through the comments, but I did call up Silovs from the AHL because our plan moving into the second half will absolutely include him. So all that being said, let's start seeing what the assistant general managers had to say in the last one. So as I said, a lot of different goalie options were on the trade block, so a lot of comments threw some of those names out there. We'll go ahead and start with Louis Mallard, who says, for the goalie situation, there are 2 that stand out to me. Marc-Andre Fleury, who's an 83 overall at 41 years of age over on Ottawa, good old reliable, or Gus the Bus, Philip Gustafsson, who's an 84 overall, I believe, or 86 maybe, over in Minnesota on the last year of his deal, backing up Jesper Wallstedt. Could be a safe long-term type of thing, but he would be a UFA after the season, so what would he be asking for in the contract? That's a question mark. Another move that stands out to me, the one forward who really stood out here, because a lot of people were saying, Perron was bottom six potential, he's concerning. Someone we might want to look at would be Anze Kopitar. Kopitar's on the block with the LA Kings. He's an 86 overall in the last year of his contract. Imagine a second line of Miller, Kopitar, and Besser. That would be killer, plus a big help for the penalty kill. Donc, merci bien, Louis. That's a great point. I was really thinking seriously about Anze Kopitar, but a lot of people raised in their comments that wouldn't make a lot of sense, even if he were to say that the Kings aren't doing well, they're a below 500 team. Would it make sense for him to waive his, you would think, no movement clause to go to a division rival? I don't know. If he were to drop to free agency and we acquire him from there, then that would be a different story. But the Kings looking to trade him to a division rival, especially after they already made the Danault and Roy trade with us a couple seasons ago. Before that, there wasn't a trade with the Kings since, I think, 2020, when the Canucks and the Kings had a Tyler Toffoli deal. So would it be super realistic? I don't know. I could see it. But at the same time, it would take Perron, a pick, and a prospect. It would probably be a bit of a stretch. We'll definitely keep note of Kopitar and different forward possibilities headed towards the deadline, but I think if we were to make any trade in the near future, it would be a goaltending one. So Gustafsson and Fleury, two of those main suggestions, as Louis highlighted. Now, over in Tic Tac's comment, he says, I'd look at giving Demko actually a one-year extension, retain his value, and then package him and Perron at the draft next year for a significant goalie upgrade or a move-up scenario. Great vid, keep it up. So that's not a bad idea either. Just because we have, let's say, mentally moved on from Thatcher Demko, that does not mean that we need to make a trade today. Of course, we want to limit the amount of games that we're losing, and we don't want to allow the future of this season to be thrown off the deep end just because we want to retain some trade value. But it's a good point. Just because we say we're ready to move on from Thatcher Demko, it does not mean that a trade has to happen today. So keeping that in mind, Cheery Coke says Gus Bus on the block is very interesting. He could be the new starter if a trade for Thatcher Demko could formulate. Or we could turn to Casey DeSmith as the new number one, and then Silovs is called up to be NHL backup. On top of that, goals against is definitely a concern that needs to be addressed, and maybe a new identity between the pipes could be it. Love the video's data, keep it up. Thank you very much for those thoughts, and thank you for the kind words. That's another idea as well, going to Smith and Silovs for the rest of this season, and then presumably next year in the offseason, going after a free agent as opposed to trying to always make it work in terms of trade value. So many different ideas. Addy left a comment saying, I think for once the depth is actually good. The issue is the third pair right D of Wu, and then on top of that, of course, Thatcher Demko. I think that we should roll with DeSmith as starter, at least for now, since his numbers are passable and we know he's been good in the playoffs, and then perhaps trade for Marc-Andre Fleury and picks using Demko so that we could then have a 1A, 1B tandem of DeSmith and Fleury. Then, next offseason, we could sign a long-term goaltending replacement. As for the third pair right D, some guys I was looking at are Urho Vakanainen, Hayden Fleury, who's stuck in the AHL, he's had some success in the Dataverse before, and Radko Gudas. Point is, we really need a third pair right D. It doesn't necessarily have to be the guys I just mentioned, though. So thank you for that, Addy. Yes, for sure, the defense on the third pair has been pretty much the one, glaring plus-minus hole here. Braden McNabb has been doing well. He's Mr. Shot Block. I don't want to take him out of the lineup, but the mix of Susi and Wu has not been impressive for us. I think the goaltending has played a part in that, but it's a much easier fix than the goaltending. Therefore, it's one that will likely make sooner if things continue. Like I said earlier, Carson Soucy's been out of the lineup for the last 10 or 11 games as we gave Jet Wu a chance. We'll now bring him back into the lineup. The game reset. I turned off the PlayStation for a couple days. We're back. Maybe he'll have some better luck in the second half, but the leash is pretty short because it doesn't have to be long. We don't really need to wait when it comes to the acquisition of a player whose trade value is not very high, especially considering how good Soucy's AAV is moving forward, so we'll try to give him every chance to succeed. Moving on to Gavin's comment now, who said, Demko's situation is definitely concerning, but I don't think we should desperately try to get rid of him when his value is at his lowest. That's kind of what I was mentioning before. We can say we're moving on from him, but it doesn't mean we have to trade him today. Let's give him another chance as he's still an 87 overall. The offense is producing at an excellent rate, and I don't think the top six needs to change. Perron even is looking solid. However, it looks like the third line is the new second line in terms of plus minus. I think Podkolzin should definitely be the first one out if we're going to make a change. He still has value and might just need a fresh start. Maybe we swap him for Jordan Eberle, who's a veteran third liner who could maybe spark Ratu's offense. Curious to see what other people's thoughts are in this one, as there are definitely some problems that need to be addressed. Great video, Data. Excited to hear your thoughts, and go Nucks. Thank you for that, Gavin. So I'm a big fan of Podkolzin. I would not necessarily want to move him out. 18 points, on pace for 36, which would be a career high. He's been doing well in that third line role. We have him at a cheap AAV. He's extended for another couple of years already, which you can't see right here. He has a decent fit on the third line. I wouldn't want to move him. And on top of that, I think the third line's plus minus is coming around. He's a 0, Danault's a +2, Perreault's a -1. Meanwhile, on the second line, you have Bassard at -6, you have Reinhardt at -2, Ratu +2. So I think that's more of a middle six issue that goes hand in hand with the defense and the goaltending, because I know Gavin's not saying hit the panic button just yet, but I really don't want to start looking for stress moves when we're just in the the -5-ish range. I think they can still turn that around. I like this depth. I like this lineup. Absolutely keep an eye on it, and Eberle would bring in more offense, which is what we need, but at the same time, I think this could sort itself out potentially. I could always be wrong, but right now I think that could be the case. There are a lot of other great, well-thought-out comments in the last one that I can't always get to in video, but thank you for leaving them, as I took the time to reply to all of them off screen. I can't go through this entire one from Cheating Heel, but I just wanted to highlight it because of the opening paragraph here, as Cheating Heel said, "Well, that's it. I've seen enough of Demko. Comme le disait si bien René and Nathalie, tourne la page, tourne la page." Great reference. Love it. Just had to highlight it there. A lot of other thoughts, including what kind of goalie we could get. Vejmelka, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Markstrom, blah, blah, blah. What teams could we trade Demko to? Colorado, the Rangers, the Senators, Vegas. Thoughts on different deals. Johansson, Gudas. So great comment here. Thank you for it, Cheating Heel. I went ahead and made a reply, but for the moment, I'll just have to keep on keeping on. So with all the comments understood, there would be some teams that would be open to taking Thatcher Demko. Teams that are very good but don't really have a good starting goaltender. The Rangers are a winning team. They have 80 overall Brian Elliott. The Avalanche are a winning team. They have 81 overall Justus Annunen. So Demko on those teams would make a lot of sense. So it depends on if we want to make a deal in which we take back a goalie, like a deal with Minnesota where we get a Philip Gustafsson and then Demko's kind of like their backup. Or would it make more sense if we trade him to a team that really needs a starter? I think that would be the more likely scenario. Even Vegas has 83 overall, Capo Kakinen backed up by a 75 overall. So there are a lot of teams that could use a starting goalie like Demko. But at the same time, we're not in the greatest situation either for goaltending. But at the same time, again, we can't just keep Demko because he has a high overall when he's still just falling apart whenever we put him out on the ice. So here's what I'm thinking. If we're about 20 games away from the trade deadline, we just gave 10 starts to Casey DeSmith. He did okay. He did well enough. He's 8-5-0 in 15 games this season. I'm thinking we give another, let's say, 5 starts to Demko, another 5 starts to DeSmith, and then another like 5, 6, 7 starts to Silovs. Let's see him a little bit. Silovs was called up last season, 2 appearances, 2 losses, not ideal. He's been our starter in the AHL. This is his third, actually technically his 4th, right? His 4th season as a starter in the AHL. So we want to give him the opportunity to be up here in the NHL. If he can really impress, then that would, maybe push Thatcher Demko out the door a little bit, as we'd be more confident with a DeSmith-Silovs tandem. But if Silovs can't do it, then that's a little scarier and would probably contribute to wanting to keep Demko until the draft at least. So before we offer any extensions, before we make any larger decisions, I'm thinking let's use the time from now, the halfway point, up until the trade deadline, and reevaluate from there. So that being said, I'm going to say let's go with Thatcher Demko to start the next one. Casey DeSmith can take a little rest after having 10 consecutive starts. Demko's going to start with Silovs backing him up, as we call him up from the AHL squad. The AHL squad was doing pretty well also, I believe, after 2 very bad seasons back-to-back. We're 19-9-4. Lekaramäki's doing very well. Okay, good to see. The next game will come against the Carolina Hurricanes, a losing team, so a good opportunity for Demko to have a bounce back. We're 6-4-0 in our our last 10. The Hurricanes are 15, 21, and 3. Let's see Mikheyev here against his old team. Starting the second half of year number 3, let's see what happens over this little stretch towards the trade deadline and reevaluate from there. But that being said, let's start off with this first game here, hosting the Hurricanes, 1-1 after 20. Former Canuck Matt Waugh, of course. We traded him there in the offseason, of course. Yes, he opens it up against his former team. Then Pettersson ties it back. The shots are 17-8. Second period, 3-1. See, 3 goals on 21 shots. That doesn't give me a lot of comfort, not a lot of trust in Demko. Let's see if we can have a big third period. Power play goal from David Perron to put us within 1. 15 minutes ago, power play for the Hurricanes, 5-on-3. Hold on, shorthanded goal, possibly during the 5-on-3 from Elias Pettersson to get his second of the evening. That ties this game up at 3 with 5 minutes to go. Demko's holding it down a little bit better now as we're into the final minute and we'll head to overtime. All right, at least we get to overtime. Shots end 33-30 in our favor. Headed to 3-on-3 action here in Vancouver. And the Hurricanes win as Jordan Staal ends with 36 seconds left. All right, so 4 goals on 36 shots against Demko, not horrible. We'll keep him in for the next few games here, unless there's a back-to-back coming up. No back-to-backs yet. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll give him the next 6 starts, and then for this 7th game after the halfway point, we'll move to Silovs or DeSmith against the Devils there. So overtime loss, 5-3 loss, 5-2 loss, 3-2 loss, 3-1 loss, 4-3 loss. Congratulations, Thatcher Demko. You have single-handedly dug your own grave. Is that not ridiculous? I know we're losing games. That's why I put a stop to it after 5 or 6 games here. 890 save percentage, 3.59 goals against average, 15, 17, and 3. I know not all of those losses were his fault, but come on now. He had an 892 save percentage and 3.54 goals against average. Those numbers have gotten even slightly worse. So Thatcher Demko, you may have just dug your own grave there, my friend. Let's give Silovs some starts now, with DeSmith backing him up. And Demko, you're a healthy scratch, and that may have been your last game as a Canuck, my friend. I don't know what to say. That is crazy. And look at this. We're falling up further behind in the Pacific Division. We have a little bit of experimentation room, but not a lot. It's a tight Pacific Division. We got to string together some wins here. So Silovs, you have the crease now, buddy, or at least you have the chance for it. And mild concussion to Tom Willander. Fantastic. So you're going to get every opportunity to succeed. Run with it, my friend, or else we're going to have to look for other options. Soucy's a -10. The plus-minus here as well. Is it just the third pair defense? Has that been it? Are they the only ones getting negatives? I know, we're running out of runway. We're running out of runway here. Let's go Soucy. Let's go. Top pair for Carson Soucy. -5 with Jet Wu. Incredible. Forget it, I guess. We'll do this then. What a joke. What a real joke. 5-3 win. At least we got a victory. Thank you, Silovs. And now here in Boston, Willander's back. Okay, it was only for a couple days. That's great. Okay, he's back in. It was a 4-1 win. Okay, 4-1 win. Not bad. So we got a couple of wins in there. It was a bunch of L's altogether, but imagine it was just a couple of dubs sprinkled in. It's all right. We'll survive. We'll survive here. We had a little all-star break now. We rested up. Let's keep on going here against the Flyers. 21, 21, and 6. No thank you, Calgary, with Silovs in between for another 4-1 victory. Okay, we'll give him one more game, and it is a 2-0 loss. Okay, so we can't blame him on that one. Let's see, Silovs, there he is, 939 save percentage. EA, man. Good old EA. 3-1-0 with a 939 save percentage and 1.76 goals against average. King Arthur, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Is it like Arturs Urbe? Is it like Arturs Silovs? Or is it more like Arturs? Or Arturs? I'm not sure. Someone's going to correct me, that's for sure. But for now, we'll call him King Arthur. 3-1-0. Thank you very much. Now, the bigger question is, can we trust Casey DeSmith for a little bit? If DeSmith shows me some good numbers here, then that's great. I would have a lot more faith in that tandem, and worst case, we get another goalie closer to the deadline in 10 games. But right now, I wouldn't mind making a move that includes Demko and Soucy moving out. So here against the Anaheim Ducks, a very good team, gets shut out 1-0. They're one of the best teams in the league, and we lose 1-0. So we haven't scored in 2 consecutive games, but good show there from DeSmith. On the road against the Sharks, 5-3 win, very nice. I'll pause here just to check the scouting reports, but we're getting closer and closer to being ready to make a decision. All right, the scouting has been updated. Thatcher Demko has been a few days now since he's been sent home from the team. Let's get another start here against the 30-19-5 Winnipeg Jets. Let's go to see a game, actually. Let's see how they do in the slow sim. I forget who was actually starting. The scouting report threw me off. That takes a lot of time. So it is DeSmith. Okay, so Willander opens up the scoring, then Kyle Connor ties it up, but David Perron gives us the 2-1 lead. We're up by 1 headed into the second period. After 40, we're up 4-2. JT Miller and Brock Besser make it a 4-1 game, but Scheifele gets one more. 2 goals on 17 shots against DeSmith. 4 on 30 against Hellebuyck. Make it 5 on 32 as Sam Reinhart extends our lead to 3. We know how good Connor Hellebuyck is, as the Jets eliminated us in the Western Conference Final last year in the postseason. A couple of power plays there for the Jets. Huge penalty kills, and we'll call it there. 5-2 the final. Not too shabby. 2 goals against, 27 saves, giving DeSmith the 3rd star honors. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm getting closer and closer to being ready to make a decision here. As I said, Demko's been sent home for a little bit. He's had his time off. He's been away from the team. He's just kind of awaiting a trade at this point. I'm going to give Silovs one last start here against the Oilers. This, if he gives me decent numbers, I think we're going to go ahead and lock it in. Demko's kind of just sitting there as insurance at the moment in case we need to go to someone else and they start falling apart. But both King Arthur and Casey DeSmith have been, doing what they need to do to give us confidence. In Edmonton for this next game here, first period is going to be a tough matchup against the Oilers as well. 2-0 after 20, Perron and Pettersson. Second period, 3-0, Tom Willander. Shots 27-22 for the Vancouver Canucks. We're up 3-0. Power play here in the third period, extended opportunity for the Canucks, killed off by the Oilers. We're still up by 3 into the final 10 minutes. Shots 37-30. Don't you dare tell me. Final 5 minutes now. Power play killed off. Nurse breaks the shutout for King Arthur, but he'll still make 33 saves to get the victory. Wow! Shots end 41-34. Arturs Silovs makes 33 saves for 1st star honors. Willander a goal and an assist. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to make our decision. So Thatcher Demko, 15, 17, and 3, 890 save percentage, 3.59 goals against. Meanwhile, Silovs in 5 games is 4-1-0 with a 946 save percentage and 1.61 goals against average. And DeSmith 912 with a 2.62. Incredible stuff. I think the Thatcher Demko era has come to an end here in Vancouver. It is with a heavy heart that I say that. I did not want to move Thatcher Demko. I thought that he could turn it around. At one point, I thought that, especially at the start of the season. But as the season has gone on, it's become more and more clear. So I already kind of know which team we would make a potential offer to. There are a few teams that would want Thatcher Demko, but there's only really 2 teams that are contending teams that don't have a goalie but who are doing well, who could keep Demko long term, that would really make sense for. One team would be the Colorado Avalanche. They're 26, 20, and 8. They're not the best team in the league, but they are a winning team, and they have an 82 and an 80 when it comes to their NHL goaltenders. Then there's also the New York Rangers, who are one of the best teams in the NHL right now. 80 overall, Brian Elliott between the pipes with Boyko backing him up at a 77. They're 35, 18, and 3. So long term, they would want Thatcher Demko and prefer to move Thatcher Demko to the Eastern Conference. But the thing is, the money might be a little tough. And also, when I'm looking at what kind of value would come back, I would probably want like a 3rd goalie, if possible, plus like a decent pick or prospect. When I look at the prospects in New York, they have Gabriel Perreault, but that's like their best prospect. 78 overall, high top 6, former 1st round pick. I'm not sure if it would make a lot of sense to give us Gabriel Perreault, especially we have to send a bit more. Now they're over the salary cap. They have to give us money back. I don't know if I want to add to a deal, really. I'd prefer to just get a deal done where I'm trading Demko or adding very little. Here we'd have to add maybe like a 3rd round pick, something more. Plus, again, Demko in EA land has an overall, has a potential, all that stuff, but really, he's been super underperforming. He's lost the crease in back-to-back postseasons. In the real world, he'd be like an 82, 83 overall. So the 87, I don't know if they'd give their top prospect for a goaltender who might not ever be what he was. So I'm going to say it probably wouldn't work for Gabriel Perreault. And aside from that, no other prospects really interest me. So that's why I say, although I don't want to trade him in the Western Conference, I think the Colorado Avalanche would be a good trading partner because they are in a bit more of a desperate need and they have much better prospects on the block here. I wouldn't say we really want to go after Guliev necessarily because we have him in our Starfleet series, but Basha and Ritchie, 2 prospects who are playing way over their heads in the NHL. Basha is playing on the fourth line, under 7 minutes per night. He has 7 points. He's a negative 16 in 54 games. He's being buried with his medium top 6 potential. 28th overall pick in 2024. The poor guy. There's also Callum Ritchie, who was also a first-round pick, but in 2023, 5 points, negative 12, playing 7.5 minutes per night. That's crazy. So we saved Callum Ritchie or Basha. Basha or Ritchie gets saved. We throw them in our organization and try to get growth from them. Even Tulipov, Alexei Tulipov, 15th overall pick in 2025, but he's in the AHL. Probably makes more sense to go Ritchie or Basha. We take one of their fourth liners who is on their block, and in return we give them a starting goaltender, and we take back something a little more probably. So if we want Ritchie, I think Ritchie would be the guy that we lean a little bit for here. We have some wingers in the system already, not many. We have Misa as well, but Karamaki's on the wing, Johnston's on the wing. I wouldn't mind getting, and even O'Brien's on the wing. Yeah, let's go for a centerman here in Ritchie. So if we send Demko to the Avalanche, if we take back a little bit of money, we could take back James Reimer, actually, just to be third goalie for a little insurance for injuries and all that. That wouldn't be a bad idea at all. So James Reimer comes back. They still got to free up some money. Do they have a defenseman we could look at for the... Actually, I've totally forgot how bad the third pair has been. Yeah, let's look at the defenseman here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Josh Manson could be a guy. They call up the 78 overall. Unless we trade them like Carson Soucy. I take Josh Manson from you, and then I give you Carson Soucy. Carson Soucy has a 12-team no-trade clause, but to stay in the Western Conference and go to a team that's also a winning one, I think we could say that he'd likely waive that no-trade clause if the Colorado Avalanche are even part of those 12 teams, which probably would be surprising because they've been one of the best teams in the league for a few years now. Even though he's younger than McNabb, McNabb is way better in the defensive categories, and I don't know, I like the extension. I like the value that he gives us at $2.5 million, but he's been bad, man. Their plus-minus has gotten a little bit better. It was, what, negative 10? Now it's negative 5. It's gotten better. Unless we just trade him like Jet Wu and we scratch Carson Soucy. Because how much... Manson's also an expiring deal. We might not keep him long-term. He has 8 points, negative 6. He hasn't been amazing either, but he has 90 shot blocking, 91 stick checking. Defensive defenseman probably wouldn't help for the chemistry, unfortunately, with McNabb on that third pair. But at least it's a right-handed shot, and at least it's an 83 overall, as opposed to an 81 or a 78 in Jet Wu. So if I trade you Jet Wu, who's kind of had his chance, he didn't really run with it. I know it's a small sample of, 12 games, negative 1. I don't think he's bad, but when it comes to would he stay on this team next year with an expiring contract, probably not. He has value now, so why not move him out while he has it? Not much else to play with over here. Would I maybe throw in a bit of a later pick here? We have 2 fifths. I could give you our 5th. Would that be crazy? Demko, Wu, and our 5th. For Ritchie, Reimer, and Manson. This wouldn't be a bad deal, actually. You swap Reimer for Demko, which is a huge plus. You give us this prospect who you're burying and you want to move. We'll take a defenseman from you. You replace him with Jet Wu as a 78 or one of your other 78. So you take a bit of a hit on the blue line, but you get a big upgrade between the pipes, potentially long-term as well. Reimer, and even Manson's on an expiring deal, so he might be leaving anyways. Colorado, what do you think about this? They would do this! Could we squeeze a pick out of it? Or maybe we give a 6th instead of a 5th then. But I like our 6ths. I love keeping 6th. Can I give you a 7th in 2027? Would that work for you? They would. So can we just go no pick? No pick, they wouldn't do it. So I didn't even read what the message said there. Let's try going for the 7th then. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Thatcher Demko, thank you for your service, my friend, here in Vancouver. The 36th overall selection back in 2014. Through 336 career appearances, you are 167, 131, and 29, 15 shutouts, 909 save percentage, 2.94 goals against, a couple of Vezina vote seasons last couple of years, but right now you're at your lowest. I know you'll win Vezinas in Colorado and Stanley Cups with the Avalanche, but we got to move you out here. Postseason career stats aren't too pretty either, especially the last 2 years in Sim. Well, the 2 years before it. Just the 1 year actually in the real world was great, but yeah, last 2 years not pretty at all. So Thatcher Demko on an expiring deal. We're going to move you out to the Colorado Avalanche. I'm sure we'll be seeing you very soon, but we get Callum Ritchie, a great prospect, Manson for the blue line, and Reimer for third goalie. Thank you very much. On behalf of the Colorado Avalanche organization, I accept your trade offer. We'll see you out on the ice. Thatcher, thank you for everything you gave to this organization. We're going to move on. Let's go ahead and fix up the lines now as we move into the post-Demko era. All right, the lines are all set. Of course, the forwards don't change, but on defense, although it's -1, we're going to go McNabb and Manson on the third pair. Manson actually has a lovely fit on just throughout the defensive lines here, defensive pairings, especially on the second pairing. He would get a +2 with Hanifin, so we'll keep that in mind. We don't want to put anyone really in this top 4 on the third pair right now, but Manson could play on that first or second pair, no problem, so good to keep note of. We'll play him with McNabb and go from there. Between the pipes, we'll keep rolling with Silovs with the pace that he has been on, but I wouldn't mind if he regresses a little bit and DeSmith takes over. Plus, we also have James Reimer as a potential option, 37 years of age, good to have a veteran in there. Last season was in the AHL. This year in Colorado, 8-6-3 with 1 shutout, 909 save percentage. Not horrible for an 80 overall at 37 years of age. And down in the AHL, of course, now we have Callum Ritchie. We sent him down. He was way over his head in the NHL. He had great numbers in the OHL, 94 points last year, 27th overall pick in 2023. Love to get some real-world prospects in there. And he'll play second line in the AHL with the +2 right now. I like the pluses throughout the lineup here. Good chemistry for just about everybody. So positives all around. Hopefully it works out. For Demko, I wish him all the best. We free up a little bit of money as well. Moving out $5 million never hurts. And then Manson is making 4.5. We'll see what happens if he comes back next year. Speaking of that, I totally forgot to look at Podkolzin's extension. I had said he was extended for cheap, but we actually never extended him. He could be extended for cheap. So Manson would be looking at about 4.4 again, so he probably doesn't come back. But Colson wants a nice cheap extension, and other guys like McNabb. We could do McNabb. We'll wait to see more regression on him probably. But Colson, I wouldn't mind getting him right now. He would do 1 year, would keep him as an RFA, which wouldn't be bad. But he also has a great number right now. So if we did like, I don't know if you want to do 4 years, $8 million, paying him $2 million per year. But that might not be bad, kind of like a Brendan Tanev contract, which was what, like 6 years at $3 million per year? So 4 years at $2 million, I don't even want to lowball him. Like 4 years, $2 million, that's a solid price. He's making 1.325 right now. We could go a little bit less, like 3 years at 1.75, or 4 years at around 2. It's a tough call because he's not really, he's not horrible. He's, what's he put up here? 21 points in 55 games. He could easily be a 30-point guy year in, year out. That's worth a little bit of money. So I'm going to say let's go a little bit conservative. Let's do right by him. Let's do 3 years. We'll save a little bit of money as well. Let's go 3 years, 1.75, and we'll go from there. In 3 years, if he's still the same thing, wanting around the same AAV, that's fine. But you never know. Maybe he increases a little bit. He becomes an 83. Now he wants 2.2 million. I think this would probably be a contract that's in everyone's best interest. We still get a good deal, and Podkolzin would still get the opportunity to make a little bit more on his next contract at 27, 28 years of age, which would bring him into his 30s. So 3 years at 1.75 on Podkolzin. Let's see what he says to that, and we won't offer any other extensions at this time. So all that being said, let's move into our first game without Thatcher Demko. We'll be on the road in Seattle. Well, an easy decision from Podkolzin to extend. Beautiful. Great news there. He's been gone from the team for a little bit, so we've already kind of been in the post-Demko era. We're on the road at Climate Pledge Arena. The Kraken are 2-8-0 in their last 10 games. We're looking for win number 30 here on the road. It is Silovs' first game kind of with a guaranteed spot in this tandem. Manson's first game as a Canuck, and Pettersson scores in the first shot of the game. All right. First period ends 2-1 as Dunn and Levshinov score towards the end of the first period. We're doubling the shots, but they're doubling the score as we're down 2-1 after 20. Second period, we're back in it. Patty Maroon, there he is, and then Tom Willander gives us the lead. So we're now up 3-2, out shooting Seattle 32-18, up 1-0, down 2-1, up 3-2. Power play Canucks. There you go, David Perron. That's his third power play goal in a slow sim. That's his fourth now. 4 power play goals from Perron in the slow sims when we've gone in to watch games this episode. Tolvanen scores to make it a 5-3 game. Not Eli Tolvanen, but Eli Tolvanen. I'm trying to learn that one a bit more. We had him in the Starfleet stream the other night, and I was being told that in the chat. And in the final 30 seconds, there you have it. Shots and 50-28. Oh my goodness. David Perron scores twice, and Silovs makes enough saves to get us the victory. 2 goals from Perron gives him first star of the night, and we'll take the victory 5-3 the final against Tolvanen, Data 782 franchise mode, Hall of Fame legend. But he can't always carry his team all on his own, right? So I think we'll keep rolling with Silovs. We've been enjoying what he's been doing very much. We'll give him some more starts. He's been the hotter one between the two. Let's give him, let's go the next 3 games, and then in the back-to-back we'll switch over to DeSmith. 3-2 win, 4-3 loss. No thank you, Detroit. And finally, on the road against the Kraken, 5-3 loss. So we'll switch it up to DeSmith now. And there you go. He'll come in for the next 3 games, let's say, as we head up to the trade deadline. We'll quickly go through this game against the Wild, and then we'll try and get this game against the Avalanche. We'll definitely want to see this one. 6-1 win. Love to see that. And now here we go at Rogers Arena. Welcome back, Thatcher Demko. Little ovation for him on the Jumbotron. Manson against his old team, and Demko, I would presume, starting against his old team. 2 good squads as well. Let's do it. This is a big one that we had circled on the calendar here in Vancouver. First period, 1-0 Avalanche as Devontae scores on the power play, the lone goal through the first 20 minutes. Second period now, 3-1. DeSmith letting in that shorthanded goal from McKinnon. McNabb scores a rare goal to make it a 2-1 game, then Colton restores the 2-goal lead. Shots 19-17 in our favor through 40, but we're down by 2. We only have 1 past Demko so far. Power play Avalanche is killed off. We've given up a power play goal. We've given up a shorthanded goal. Not a great night for the special teams. And of course, Thatcher Demko will be shutting the door against his old squad. I can't wait to see his numbers at the end of the season, and how he has a .932 save percentage. I can't wait to see it. And this one ends 3-1. Demko makes 31 saves, of course, first star honors. There he is! There he is! Love it. Oh man, I love it. Alrighty. So we'll take the L there, unfortunately. Let's keep on going. One more game before the deadline here. Well, if I sim through it, we'll go to the deadline. I don't think we have anything else to really touch up upon. We'll take a quick pause here. Let's just look at the numbers. Anything that really stands out to us, if we got to make any moves. Ooh, that second line plus minus, we got to do something about that. Yeah. So Pettersson and Hughes both have 72 points. Kuzmenko 66. Miller 61 and 55. Besser has slowed down a little bit. 25 goals, 46 points, -17. Same for Reinhardt. Perron 42 points. I like it. Hronik, Dano, Ratu has slowed down. Yeah. Down in the bottom here. So Josh Manson, what's he done so far in the third pair? 1 assist, even plus minus, through 6 games as a Vancouver Canuck. No problem with that. And DeSmith and Silovs, their numbers are still looking pretty respectable. But I think we got to do something about that second line. Besser, Reinhardt with the -17s. Oh boy, Ratu has slowed down a little bit as well. At the end of the last episode, so like from games, I think like 30 or 25 to 41, or something like that, he had a really good pace. But Perron's been scoring a lot. Let's try swapping it up. Perron, Reinhardt, Besser, Ratu, Dano, Podkolzin. Worst case, we make a bigger change and Dano comes back. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should do that right now. That plus minus has been bad enough. Let's do it. And we'll put Reinhardt here, Besser here, and Ratu with his 67 faceoffs can go center here. Okay, so Besser, Dano, Reinhardt. Let's see if that fixes up the plus-minus problem. Put Colzin, Ratu, and Perron on the third line. No other changes just yet. We'll keep Susi out of the lineup, and we'll keep DeSmith starting for the next little bit here. Okay, let's go through this game against Vegas now. On the road at T-Mobile Arena. I don't know if they'll give us the result. No, not yet. Keep current trade block. Continue simming. Can we see it? Not quite. We got to wait for the end. And here we go. So the Senators get Teravainen and Paul from the Sharks for a Ginla, 2/3 and a 1/6. Big deal there. 2-1 loss on the road. Where's the goal scoring? Usually I do my due diligence around the league to see if there's any really trades that would be interesting to us, but we really don't have a lot of value. I don't think we want to make any deals. We've made some big ones. Now let's let this squad show what it can show without having to always tinker with it every 6 games. So that was our trade is the first of the season. Boston gets Boone Jenner and Connor Garland from the Blue Jackets. Sonny Milano and Nick Jensen going to the Red Wings. That big Iginla trade as he goes to the Sharks. Michael Bunting to the Coyotes. Marcus Pettersson to the Sharks. Appleton to the Lightning. Anthony Mantha and Ryan Palin going to the Rangers. Whoa, Evgeny Malkin, a 6th, and Jack Rathbone going to the Minnesota Wild in exchange for Victor Eklund and Caden Bankier. Wow. Victor Eklund, a real-world prospect we added to the game. The Wild drafted him just last year, and they trade him for Evgeny Malkin. Oh my goodness, that's a huge deal. And the Canadians get Nate Danielson as well. So some very large movements around the NHL. Where are the Wild? They sit atop the Central Division. Okay, wow. So let's keep on simulating now. We've done a lot of little tinkering. Let's get some block simulation done. We'll go to the Avalanche, then we'll do a lot of other simulation after that. Big 5-0 shutout from Casey DeSmith. Love to see that. 3-1 loss, though, against the Oilers. Let's try and get a victory here on the road in Colorado. They beat us in Vancouver. Now let's try and beat them in Colorado. First period, 1-0 Avalanche. McKinnon on the power play. Second period, Reinhardt scores early. There you go. Okay, the floodgates open up on Demko a little bit. Reinhardt on the power play. Miller even strength, and then Kuzmenko on the power play. Then Kovalenko makes it a 1-goal game. The shots are 33-18 though, so Demko's not doing too badly here. We're up by 1 here in the third period in Colorado, outshooting the Avalanche by quite a bit here, but Basha, there he is on the fourth line. Basha ties it at 3. Power play Avalanche. They've been doing well in the special teams. We kill it off, though, thankfully. Shots 42-25, but we're tied up with the last 5 minutes to go here. Will we see overtime in Colorado against our old friend Thatcher Demko? Final minute. Yes, we will. Shots and 50-26. 50-26, almost double. And we're headed to overtime. We'll definitely want to see this one here. Let's see if we can beat Demko in person here at Ball Arena in Colorado. 3-on-3 action. Let's do it. What? What? 2 seconds into the overtime? I was fixing the volume. I didn't even see it. You're kidding me. A little face-off tie-up? What a soft homer call. Soft. Now we're killing a 4-on-3 penalty for 2 minutes in overtime. That's going to be ugly. Hronik gets board pinned, and now here we go. Of course, that's the classic board pin pickoff. McKinnon to Rantanen. Can't quite get in. Rantanen coming in now against Quinn Hughes. Poked away by Hughes. Nicely done. Too bad the AI doesn't know how to clear the puck. Unless, here we go. Up to Philippe Danault. Bats in Philippe. Now here's Quinn on net. Okay, not bad. Rantanen over to McKinnon with space. Oh my goodness. DeSmith not even close. Way out of position. What is that? Oh, what an ugly loss. As we lose both games to Colorado since making that trade with them. Where are you going, Demko? DeSmith, where are you going? Tape-to-tape pass from Mikko Rantanen. Drew in the defenseman. Then he had a lot of open space. Smith just, I don't know what you're doing, buddy. Oh, and we'll drop that one in overtime. Despite outshooting the Avalanche 51-27, Demko makes 48 saves and we lose in overtime. Not pretty, as we're sitting in a wild card spot here. Not pretty. So, we'll put Silovs in for this game against the Wild. We'll see how that goes, and we'll go from there. Evgeny Malkin and the Wild, they are a very good team in Minnesota. Ooh, 6-2 win! Wow! Besser was injured for a game. All right, that's fine. Huge 6-2 victory against one of the best teams in the league. 4-3 shutout loss against the Predators. Continuing on here against the Kings, they're 26-40-3, 2-8-0 in their last 10. We beat them 4-1. Let's keep it rolling. The main screen sim seems to be helping us, and now Silovs has a strained hamstring. Out till April 20th. I forgot what the date is. I think we're in April? But regardless, he was doing very well. Good job. He takes a little bit of a break now. DeSmith will come in, and Reimer will back him up. His first time being on the bench as a Canuck. What was Silovs' numbers looking like? 927 save percentage through 13 appearances. Well done, King Arthur. And he ends off with a 4-3 victory. There you go. So we'll give it to Smith a start here against the Flames here on the road in Calgary. 4-3 win. We'll give James Reimer here a chance against his old team, the Sharks. There you go now at 38 years of age. Possibly the final year of his career. Let's see if he can go out with a bang. Hosting the Sharks, who are 29-32-9. Let's just check it out. Let's see if Reimer can get the dub here. Let's see if we can do it for Optimus Rhyme. He's been a legend in our franchise mode series before. First period, 1-0 Sharks. Ferraro gets the opening goal. Second period, no scoring, being outshot 22-21. Power play Sharks early in the third, killed off. Now no scoring through the first 45 minutes for us. Not many shots either, though. Power play Sharks once again at the halfway point, killed off once more. Still nothing on our end, though. James Reimer's doing very well, but we're not giving him any support into the final couple minutes here. Disappointing effort, and Eklund will add the empty netter. That's too bad. We hang him out to dry. As who gets the 26 save shutout? It is Georgiev. Reimer, first star honors, though. It wasn't your fault, buddy. Well done. Good start. Just the offense not coming through at all in that one, unfortunately. You know what? I'm going to give him another start. Why not? Actually, well, we're in March right now, so we're still about 3 weeks away from Silovs being back. So I'm going to give Reimer another one here on the road in Dallas. 4-1 win. Let's go again here in Winnipeg. Why not? On the road once more. 5-4 shootout loss. I'll give him one more against the Predators, then we'll switch up for DeSmith for a little bit. On the road, 4-2 loss. All right, let's go back to KC. Reimer, though, not bad. 1-2-1, but 922 save percentage, 2.46 goals against. It's the scoring that needs to join the party here. How are the plus minuses looking for Besser and Reinhardt? I don't want to see -14 here. What? Are you kidding me? Negative 24? What? No, that's a joke. You're gone. I don't care how many goals you're scoring. 28-24, I don't care. You're out. You're out of the top 6, that's for sure. The top line is incredible, so I don't want to break that up, but whoa. Whoa now. Let's try both the second line wingers coming up, and let's even go, let's go radical. Who has a good fourth line fit? Neither really, eh? Let's look at the deeper analytics, giveaways and takeaways. Reinhardt, 100 takeaways to 43 giveaways. That's good. Brock Besser, have you been the one killing us here, buddy? More giveaways and takeaways, but nothing crazy there. Okay, Besser's going to the fourth line. Klimovich is going to go left wing there, and Patty Maroon's coming up to the third line. Maroon, Ratu, Reinhardt, Podkolzin, Dano, Perron on the second line. That is wild. That is truly incredible. What about the defense here? Plus 23, plus 14, plus 17, plus 9. -1, -7. Not crazy. Josh Manson, what's he up to here? -1. That's it. 3 assists, -1. That's crazy. The second line is that bad, but no one else is even close? That's really, like... How do you even do that? Like, you wouldn't even be able to do that if you were trying. Oh, boy. So we're coming down to the end here. We're close to the wild card spot. We're fighting here in the Pacific. It's going to come down to the wire here, so every win will count. Here on the road against the Blues, nice 3-2 victory. Looking for win number 40 against the Islanders at Rogers Arena. 4-2 win. Thank you, Casey. There he is. He's ready for his primetime postseason. Coyotes, we lose 3-2 in a tight one, unfortunately. We'll go another start here against the Stars. Zach Jones on waivers, really? Medium top 6 potential? Yeah, 79 overall, 25 years old. But you know what? Why not? Even for the AHL, it wouldn't be a bad name to have in there. Zach Jones, welcome to the organization. 4-3 shootout loss. We'll give James Reimer another one as we face San Jose once more. How are the plus-minuses looking out here? Reinhardt, -25, great. And Besser still -24. I know it wasn't a big sample size there, but still. Let's rest DeSmith a little bit. Reimer's coming in. At the SAP Center in the Shark Tank in San Jose, 4-1 loss. Yeah. 3 games left in the season. We'll go back to Casey possibly for all 3 of them. Silovs might not be back even for the first round. I don't know. Let's go back to DeSmith here. It's getting tight. We should be okay for the postseason, but I don't know. Between 2nd and 5th, there's only 3 points. It's going to be closer than you think. So let's get this game through with the Oilers. It is a 4-2 loss, which drops us to a wild card spot. Yeah, we need both these victories. These are going to be tight ones, both on the road against the Kings and then against the Ducks. Here we go. We need both these dubs. First period, Doughty and Pettersson. Second period, 2-1, Anze Kopitar. We're down by 1 here in the third period. 5-on-3 power play, 5-on-4. We kill it off. And then Brandt Clark, another power play. We're killing ourselves. Don't tell me we're going to fall out in the final 2 games here. These power plays have been brutal. Our goaltending finally gets solid, and the scoring dries up. Come on. No scoring. 1 goal on 30 shots against Cam Talbot. Wow. Wow. Where does that put us now? I don't even want to look at these standings. This is scary now. This is scary. Let's take a look at the standings here. The Flames with 84 points. They can't catch us. But if we look, hold on, Metropolitan Division, Central Division, the Blues at 87, the Avalanche at 86 are out of the postseason right now, and we at 87 are in. So we could definitely still fall out here. The Avalanche have 2 games in hand. Oh, don't tell me that the Avalanche are the team that kicks us out. If we win and go to 89 points, that should be enough. Not guaranteed even, but that should be enough to stave off most of the elimination potentials here. But whoa, this is actually like legit. This is real now. This is not some sort of made up scare. This is real. We need this victory against the 50-25-4 Anaheim Ducks. We're 3-5-2 in our last 10. We need this victory. On pace for what? We're on pace for, was it 46 at the start of the, or 44? And we're going to finish with 40 or 41. Tough second half. Plus minus is -3 for Dano now. +5, 0, -24 still. -22, a bit better for Brock Besser, up to 30 goals. Should we make any changes to the lineup here? I'm scared. Should we make any changes? This is our best lineup. DeSmith is our best option between the pipes at 915 save percentage. He's our guy. Like, is this like just our team? We live and die by this squad? Or should we say like maybe let's try Reinhardt in the top 6 again with Dano type of thing? As a playmaker, Perron would be the scorer. Maybe Ratu comes up. Perron, Ratu, Reinhardt. But Reinhardt would be the better centerman. We go Heronic on the top pair maybe as well. Like their plus minuses aren't bad here. It's not the defense. But just to give us this one game type of thing, I guess. For one game, let's try it, I guess. Like we need to really put like our higher overall guys in the postseason we can go back to. But here we are at Honda Center in Anaheim in a must-win game. Or if not, it's going to be a very, very tight. Let's go ×8. Controller down. Let's see it. All right, Kuzmenko opens it up. Thank you. On the second shot of the night, past John Gibson. 1-0 Canucks early. That's what we like to see. And 2-0 as Kuzmenko's putting the team on his back here in the first period. He scores twice within the first 6 minutes and 44 seconds. Power play Canucks killed off by the Ducks. Final 5 minutes of the first period. We're up by 2. Hanging on towards the intermission. But, of course, Leo Carlsson has to add 1. And it's a 2-1 game headed into the second. Shots 19-12 for the Ducks. But we're up 2-1 thanks to Andrei Kuzmenko. Here we go, second period action now. Power play right away for the Ducks. We love taking penalties. Oh my goodness, we kill it off thankfully. 5 minutes into the period, a lot of shots on both sides here. Halfway through this game, on pace for shots to be like 50-40. Power play Ducks killed off again. Oh my goodness. Final 5 minutes, still up by 1. No scoring yet in the second period. Final minute, and that'll be it. Come on. What's going on here? Ratu slashing, Heronic high sticking. We have no control over ourselves here. Draisaitl on the Ducks would be. All right, final 20 minutes. We're being outshot by 8, but we're up by 1. Let's go and finish off strong. Another power play. 5-on-3! Extended 5-on-3! Wow, the penalty killers putting the season on their back right now. Come, high-sticking double minor, slashing, oh, what? A high-sticking double minor, 47 seconds later, a slashing minor, 27 seconds later, high-sticking double minor. Does the simulation just hate us? Oh my goodness, we're still up 2-1 halfway through this third period, somehow, some way. Kuzmenko, the only scorer. Can we get anyone else to put a goal in the final 5 minutes on this Canucks team? Final 2 minutes. The Ducks are pushing. Oh, come on! Blake Coleman with 20 seconds left. Oh, with the shots end 42-31. And we're headed to overtime. Oh, you kill off all those penalties. No one can score except Kuzmenko. And you let a goal in with 20 seconds left. What a sad end to the season. Really sad. I forget. I'm sorry. I'm not going to pause the recording and go check because I'm in the flow right now. I forget what our pace was at the start of the year. If it was 44 wins or if it was 46 wins. But we're going to end with 40 or 41. Already that's a big downgrade here in the second half. We made a couple trades to help out this squad. Pedersen, Hughes. That's stopped by Gibson. And, like, you know, the defense was the biggest thing. We finally get it, but then the scoring dries up. Drysdale's pass is broken up. Very good. Hold on. There we go. Power play coming out. Thank you. 2 minutes for tripping on Leo Carlsson. Okay. Okay. Power play in overtime. A win doesn't even guarantee us the postseason, by the way, but at least it gives us a much better chance than if we don't. Well, we got 1 point, but, you know, a win would go a long way. 1 more point here. Slash. Ooh, head first in the boards. Ooh, ref. Come on now. Blake Coleman out for the Ducks. Miller, Pedersen, Kuzmenko, and Hughes out for 2 minutes on the power play now. Offensive zone draw. Pedersen's going to lose that one to Coleman. Minchikov's going to try... Oh, and now here comes the fight. Here comes the fight. No, he's not even injured. Oh, my goodness. At least the AI doesn't know how to... And that's a 5-minute major? What a joke. The sim just hates us so much. I need to find some sort of title for this episode. How much... Or maybe it's just a 5 minute for the fighting, actually. We'll see. Miller and Coleman going at it here. Oh, wow. What was I saying? I don't know. This fight just enthralled me. And there you go. Coleman gets the takedown. Beautiful. No, the Lions didn't really need the energy anyways. There you go. Champion. There you go. Skating off. The king. So is this going to be a penalty, or is it just 5 for fighting? No, we're still in the power play, thankfully. Okay, so just a fight out of nowhere. Should be an instigator then. But JT Miller's in the box. That means it's Besser and Pettersson with Hughes and Kuzmenko. Out here with Lundstrom on the dot for the Ducks. All right, minute 55 to go in the power play. Here we go. Pettersson at the dot. Ties him up. Besser gets it back. I was saying the AI is horrible at clearing it, so at least that is in our favor here. Hughes scores! Quinn Hughes ends it in overtime. The captain wins it in game 82. Thank you very much. JT Miller's fight may have put a little bit of wind in the sails, and we get the victory for the extra point. Will it be enough? That will be the question. But we end the season with an overtime winner as the captain snipes it home. But why would it even show it to us, right? Why would it show it to us? Tie up on the draw. Besser gets it back to Kuzmenko. Kuzmenko to Hughes. Hughes walks in, and what's his name? Gibson looks screened a little bit by, is it Lundstrom? Former Pittsburgh Penguins NHL 23 legend Isaac Lundstrom screens him a little bit. Snipes it glove side. Bang. Thank you to the captain. Shots and 42-33 for the Ducks, but we beat one of the best teams in the league to put ourselves in the best position possible to make the postseason. So drum roll, please. Was that enough to clinch the postseason, or do we need to see a couple games from the Avalanche, perhaps? The Canucks are in. Wow. We made it. We made it. That was so tight. Oh my goodness. We're in with 89 points. 87 probably wouldn't have been enough there. We would have had 40 wins. The Blues would have 41. So yeah, if we had, like, the overtime probably would have been enough, the overtime loss, but we needed at least a point and we got it. Oh my goodness. So through 82 games, Quinn Hughes leads the way. The captain, 91 points in 82 games. New career high from the captain. Very well done. Every year has been a little bit better. Love to see it. Kuzmenko ends with 86. Pettersson, 85. So we only end with 3 point per game plus players, and everyone else fell off a cliff. Besser and Reinhardt on pace for like 70 points each. They end with 56 points apiece. Crazy drop-off. JT Miller, 75. Perron, 57. Perron ends up being the hero. He was in so many trade conversation. He ends off as one of our most valuable players. Besser, 56. Reinhardt, 56 with those atrocious plus-minuses. Hronek, 52 points. Very good. Is that a career high for Hronek, or ties it? No, 2 points away from what he said a couple of years ago. But still very good to see from Philip Hronek. Ratu with 43 points. He definitely took a step back. It was a new career high in his sophomore season. Love to see it. And it's not far off from his pace from the halfway point, so I guess I shouldn't say definitely a step back, but in the pace that he was on from like game 25 to 41, it looked as if he was going to be able to break 50, but he ends with 43, not horrible at all. Dano, like, whoa, 36 points. I know he has less ice time this year without the power play. Like, he played almost no power play time, but he's still PK1. He's still in the middle six, mostly third line. I don't know. Should I be expecting 36 points? But that was I got to say, I'm a bit disappointed in that. Probably a trade candidate. You would think likely a trade candidate in the offseason. I love Philip Danault, but we need some more offense here from the depth. But Cole's in 33 points. I like to see that. He was on pace for 31, I think, when we gave him his extension. So 33, that's nice. Willander, 16 goals and 27 points in his sophomore season. Look at that. Lars Eller, fourth line center, 18 points. I like it. Hannafin, 18 points and a plus 15. Maroon, 18 points. The veteran, there he is. McNabb, 14 points and a plus 5. How many blocked shots did he get? I'm just curious. 70 blocks while only playing 14-23 per night. Only. That's probably okay numbers. Klimovich in his rookie season, 12 points, very limited ice time, so thank you for your service, Danila. Hopefully you can get more ice time next year. Josh Manson, in the end, 3 assists and a plus 1 in 27 games. Better than what Susie was giving us, so I'll take it. He had 4 points and a negative 5 from Susie in the end. Oman, 1 goal in 10 games. Looking at the goaltending now, in the end, Casey DeSmith goes 17-12-2 with 2 shutouts, 917 save percentage, and 2.57 goals against, while Silovs goes 8-3-1. King Arthur has a 927 save percentage and 2.35 goals against average. James Reimer, as a Canuck, goes 1-3-1, but 914 save percentage, 2.77 goals against average. Not too bad for a third goalie. Before we check out stats from other teams around the league, we'll just make sure every team plays game 82. And there we go. We got some good rest. All right. Thankfully, we ended the season a little bit early. So actually, I'll look at the points first. Let's see Thatcher Demko's Vezina numbers on the Colorado Avalanche. Let's see him. Can't wait to see his .932 save percentage. Demko ends going 11, 12, and 2 with the Avalanche. .916 save percentage, 2.81 goals against average. Not crazy numbers. The Avalanche let him down a little bit, but from 890 to .916, definitely a big improvement there for Demko. So there you have it, Thatcher. We'll be looking forward to seeing what he does throughout the rest of his career. In the entire NHL, the season ends off with Jack Hughes scoring 107 points. Most goals in the league. Alex Ovechkin at the age of 40 scores 52. Michkov with 50. Look at that. Passing of the torch perhaps coming soon. Most fights. Always want to see this. Yeah, there's Patty Maroon. 7 fights this season. Tied for 3rd most in the league. There he is, good old Patty Maroon. Then we want to just check out, let's see, defensemen around the NHL. Where does Quinn Hughes rank there? So number 1 in defensive scoring. And by the way, here's Jet Wu. He didn't play any games with the Avalanche. No, he did not. Okay. So 91 points to lead all defensemen in the NHL. Could that be a Norris Trophy for Quinn Hughes? I think it's likely so, with a plus 19 as well. Fox, McCart, everybody else, very well done to Quinn. Looking at goalies around the NHL, Wallstedt 44 wins, great numbers. Devin Levi, of course, there's Brian Elliott at 41 years of age. Great stuff. And rookies around the league, looks like, yeah, Michkov, his rookie season, so 50 goals and 86 points from him. Zane Merrick, 66 points. Cole Yzerman, 65. Jimmy Snuggerud, 52. A few other names that you may recognize around the league there. Celebrini, 42 points. The Canadians have a great few prospects there on their team. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, scoring around the league. Let's check out our standing in the standings, I suppose. In the end, we finished just squeaking in with 15th best in the NHL. Goals for at 3.46, goals against at 3.01. Our record, of course, 41, 34, and 7. Power play ended at 23.5%, so it took a dip, ended 3rd best in the NHL. And the penalty kill was at 83.5, ends at 81.1. Disgusting numbers. So we definitely have to make a fix on that headed into the postseason. Way closer to the bottom than the top. Tough record at home this season, and we end the year 3-5-2 in our last 10 games. And the season is not over yet in the AHL, but if you're curious about how we're doing so far, 69 points in 69 games, 35 goals from Jonathan Lekaramaki. Love to see that. Maybe he gets a call-up for the postseason. Anderson Dolan, 63 points. He's an 80 overall. He could get a call-up as well, maybe. Ran to 50. O'Brien, 24 goals and 48 points. And of course, we want to see Richie. Good old Richie. What did he do? 20 points in 23 games since joining our squad. Great. Love to see that. But in round number 1 of the year number 3 postseason, we will be facing the Anaheim Ducks. Coming off with a 3-2 victory in overtime, we now face the 52-win Anaheim Ducks in round number 1. Just as a reminder, they finished atop our division and also 2nd best in the NHL. So it is not going to be easy. Let's check out their lines and see who will be up against in round number 1. Leo Carlsson, Leon Draisaitl, and Troy Terry on the first line. Data 782 Hall of Famer Leon Draisaitl. Second line, Duclair, Zegras, and Strome. Third line, Coleman, McTavish, and Killorn. Fourth line, Lundstrom, Johansson, and Lysell. We were thinking about guys like Marcus Johansson at the trade deadline, but I was thinking with how well Maroon was doing, Klimovich. We didn't really make a move in the end. It wouldn't have hurt, but he likely wouldn't have played at all as we didn't have any bottom 6 injuries. So just to throw it out there, I know we considered it, but never ended up really pulling the trigger on it. Defense, Minchikov and Drysdale on the top pair, Kuhlmans and Fowler on the second, Zellweger and D'Angelo on the third, John Gibson between the pipes backed up by Lucas Dostal, scratches, Gudis, and Max Jones. So it's a great squad here on the Ducks. They won 52 games for a reason. That's a deadly first line. So we got to be thinking about our own lines. What kind of changes will you want to see with those atrocious plus minuses? What is your idea of the lineup? This is what I want to hear in the comments. Suggestions are always very much appreciated, but I want to hear your ideal lineups. I think any lineup would likely be Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Miller, unless you want to spread the wealth a little bit. But that second, especially that middle 6, we got to be thinking about who goes where. Even the fourth line, does Besser stay there? I don't know. Defensive pairings, how do we do this as well? I want to hear your thoughts on the defense. Goaltending, I think we start with DeSmith, especially if the choices are DeSmith and Reimer. But I would think that Silovs, if he comes back in by game 2 or game 3, it's April 17th. He was back April 20th? Yeah, April 20th, so it's already a playable injury. So if he's back by game 2, does he take over the crease, or will it depend on what DeSmith does? Let me know your thoughts on that, as well as the special teams. The power play dropped a little bit, but the penalty kill we definitely have to throw it in a blender or something. So first unit power play, here it is. Second unit power play, here it is. Perron had 10 power play goals, by the way, I had noticed. Penalty kill, unit number 1, unit number 2, and unit number 3. So any and all of your suggestions, lineup especially, special teams especially, please leave those down here in the comments on YouTube or over on the Discord server, link in the description as always. I'll leave you off there, ladies and gentlemen, because it was a long second half episode. They aren't usually this long. Maybe it just feels long with all the recording, but I'll end it off there. Looking forward to a big postseason ahead. Year number 1, we lose in round number 1. Year number 2, we lose in round number 3. Now in year number 3, let's see how far we can go. It's not going to be easy against the Ducks, but I believe in us. I hope that you do as well. If you do, and if you enjoyed this second half of the season, please do leave a like. Let me know your thoughts on the Thatcher Demko trade. And of course, as always, subscribe if you haven't already to be made aware of all of our uploads for our Canucks series, as well as our 2 live stream series. One with our expansion San Francisco Starfleet here on NHL 24, and another with our Pittsburgh Pirates on MLB The Show 23. We put it on the shelf for a couple months, but we're back now. So we have pretty much 3 series ongoing, and we could really use your help for all of them. It'll be that much stronger with you as a part of the collective here on the channel, so we'd love to have you here. I'll end it off there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for taking the time to watch, and I'm very much looking forward to reading all of your suggestions headed into the postseason and seeing you once again in the next one as we embark on our journey in the 2026 postseason.